Yes, good morning. Today's study quote: we are what we repeatedly do. So, excellent isn't a choice, it's a habit. Today's articles: vaccine deadline mean to cut red tape, ICMR clarifies. India set for more talks on LAC, line of actual control. Amid Ladakh standoff, China Pak hold talks. New Delhi Islamabad tussle looms as Harriet implodes. 60% patients had at least one comorbidity, survey finds. The first article is vaccine deadline mean to cut red tape, ICMR clarifies. Let us talk a row as it wanted Covaxin out by August 15. The Indian Council of Medical Research ICMR said in a statement on Saturday that a letter sent earlier this week by its Director General Balram Bhargava on a vaccine for COVID-19 was meant to cut unnecessary red tape and speed up recruitment of participants. Dr. Bhargava's letter, sent on Thursday to clinicians at 12 hospital sites selected to test a potential vaccine, sparked controversy after it was seen as exhorting scientists to speed up the processes and enable the vaccine to be made available for public health use by August 15. This not only presumes that Covaxin, the candidate vaccine developed by Hyderabad-based Bharat Biotech Limited and set to enter clinical trials, will be successful, but also the trials, which ordinarily take several months, can be compressed to a little over a month. Government scientists and independent experts have said this is an impossibly short time frame to test it on people. However, the ICMR's letter of Saturday has still no explanation why August 15 was mentioned. The latest letter notes that the ICMR's process is exactly in accordance with the globally accepted norms to fast-track the vaccine development for diseases of pandemic potential, wherein human and animal trials continue in parallel. Red tape, the letter notes, was not allowed to become a hindrance in the fast-track approval of testing kits or introducing potential drugs. Similarly, the vaccine development process also had to be insulated from slow file movement. The ICMR was exhorting scientists at trial site locations to complete early testing phases, phase 1 and phase 2 at the earliest, so that population-based trials for efficacy could be initiated without delay, the letter notes. Phase 1 and Phase 2 are trials done on groups of people and mean to test if the vaccine is safe in people and produces protective antibodies. The potential vaccine in question is a SARS-CoV-2 strain sourced from the ICMR National Institute of Virology. The aim is to test if the weakened form of the virus can stimulate enough immunity to protect healthy people from infections. In clinical trial parlance, efficacy refers to testing if the potential vaccine appears to be working in ideal conditions. Based on this, investigators proceed to test the effectiveness in real-world conditions. There are several candidates for a vaccine in the pipeline, and the most promising of them have begun phase 3 trials where the vaccine is tested in a large population of thousands of individuals to determine if it can reduce disease spread. The letter said the ICMR with top medical scientists should not be second-guessed for their professionalism. Second article: India set for more talks on LAC. Special Representative Ajit Doval is scheduled to meet Chinese counterpart. A day after Prime Minister Narendra Modi's surprise visit to the Union Territory of Second article: India set for more talks on LAC. Special Representative Ajit Doval is scheduled to meet Chinese counterpart. A day after Prime Minister Narendra Modi's surprise visit to the Union Territory of Ladakh, the government is preparing for the next round of the meeting of the special representatives of India and China on the boundary question, as it looks for military and diplomatic measures to ease the tensions along the line of actual control LAC in Ladakh, according to a senior Home Ministry official. The Hindu has not been able to confirm the date of the meeting. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, who is India's special representative, met his Chinese counterpart last on December 21, 2019 in New Delhi. It was agreed then that an early settlement of the boundary question serves the fundamental interests of both countries. Mr. Modi, who spent the day in Ladakh on Friday, a first after the June 15 Galwan incident that killed 20 soldiers, had a one-on-one with Lieutenant General Harinder Singh, GOC 14 Fire and Fury Corps. Lieutenant General Singh is leading the Corps Commando level talks with the Chinese. He has had 3 meetings on June 6, 22 and 30 with his Chinese counterpart Major General Liu Lin, commander of the South Xinjiang military region, since the build-up and the violent face-offs began in April-May. Mr. Modi spent a considerable time with Lieutenant General Singh and was given a detailed briefing on the ongoing military level talks, the official said. Chief of the Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat and Army Chief General M.M. Naravane, who accompanied Mr. Modi from Delhi, were not part of the meeting. There are too many voices in Delhi. The Lieutenant General is flooded with suggestions before and after the talks with the Chinese. What is required now is clear, cogent directions, said the official. Verification to begin. A second official said that beginning Sunday, July 5th, the verification process of whether the Chinese have removed structures as agreed at Galwan Valley would start. In the June 30 meeting, the two sides decided to verify the de-escalation at all the friction points. The official said, after the June 15 incident, the Chinese built stone walls or semi-bunkers within India's perception of the LAC at the very same point where the clashes occurred. Indian troops also have a matching bunker and structure there, primarily used as a protection from the hurling of stones. On July 5, we will carry out a survey to verify if China has removed the structure or not. As per the June 30 disengagement plan, the two military commanders indicated that at first de-escalation would take place at all the friction points and then depth areas such as the Depsang Plains in the north, where China has amassed troops, would be looked into. Third article. Amid Ladakh standoff, China-Pak hold talks. Kashmir LOC situation figure in discussions. The deteriorating situation on the line of control LOC in Kashmir came up for discussion between Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and Pakistan Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi on Friday, according to statements from Islamabad and Beijing. The phone call between them comes amid speculation that China and Pakistan are presenting a common front in the standoff between the Indian Army and PLA troops at the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh, which may require India to prepare for a two-front war if action increases at the LOC as well. India's charge. On Friday, India issued a demarc to Pakistan over growing incidents to seize the fire violations by Pakistan forces along the LOC and the international boundary. Foreign Minister Qureshi underscored that regional security situation was deteriorating and underlined that India's belligerent posture and expansionist policies were imperiling peace in the region, said a release from the Pakistan Foreign Ministry, which also referred to the situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Mr. Qureshi also briefed Mr. Wang about the repeated violations committed by India across the LOC, the statement said. China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs MFA said the two ministers exchanged views on the situation in Kashmir, Afghanistan and South Asia. Mr. Wang said both China and Pakistan must work together to meet the risks and challenges and safeguard the common interests of the two countries and regional peace and stability, said the statement issued in Beijing. The conversation took place on a day when Mr. Qureshi announced that he had tested positive for COVID-19. Countering Pakistan's allegations on the LOC, sources in the government of India said New Delhi had registered a strong protest at the continued unprovoked ceasefire violations by Pakistan forces along the LOC and the IB, which are in contravention to the 2003 ceasefire understanding. This year till June 2020, 14 Indians have been killed and 88 Indians injured in more than 2,432 unprovoked ceasefire violations carried out by Pakistan forces, said the sources, adding the Pakistan's fighting was meant to provide cover for cross-border infiltration of terrorists. Despite these concerns having been shared, including through the channel of Director Generals of Military Operations, the Pakistan forces have not ceased such activities, the sources said. Pak posting in China. When asked if India's concerns of a two-front war were growing, President of the Center for China Analysis and Strategy Jayadeva Rane told The Hindu that it was a possibility and pointed to the recent posting of a Pakistani military officer to China's Central Military Commission's Joint Staff Department. China has major strategic and financial investments in Aksai Chin-Pok and Gilgit-Baltistan wider area as represented by the CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, but I feel Islamabad might hesitate to get directly involved because they would anticipate a massive retaliation by India before it switches its entire attention to China, he said. India has fought with Pakistan at the LOC on several occasions and with China at the LAC in 1965. However, it has not so far had to deal with a two-front situation. Last month, Army Chief General Naravani said India must remain alive to the threat of a two-front war, and in January 2020 referred to dual task formations as a countervailing strategy. Modi was 230 km away from LAC Congress. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was 230 km away from any forward post on the line of actual control on Friday, while many of his predecessors, including Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi, and Lal Bahadur Shastri, had visited the border outpost, the Congress said on Saturday. Did former Prime Ministers Indira Gandhi and Lal Bahadur Shastri not visit the forward locations to boost the morale of our soldiers? Did Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru also not visit our soldiers in forward locations in NEFA in 1962 to boost their morale? But it appears that our Prime Minister stayed 230 km away in Nimmu, Leh, Congress Rajya Sabha member Kapil Sibal said in the press conference. Indira Gandhi, in fact, he added, visited the Galvan Valley. Citing a report in The Guardian titled, Our Pastures Have Been Taken, Indian Rule China's Himalayan Land Grab. Mr. Saibal also questioned the government on the border row. The report carries two satellite images from May 22 and June 23 of Pang Song Tso. The report says it clearly shows substantial Chinese military structures, including a radar tower, that have been built close to a ridge known as Finger Four. This article was related to the previous one. Article 4. New Delhi, Islamabad tussle looms as Hurriyat implodes. Gilani's exit has sparked off a leadership struggle. The resignation of Syed Ali Shah Gilani from the all-party Hurriyat conference last week set off ripples of speculation over the outfit's future and its role in the politics of the Kashmir Valley. In his reasons for quitting, Mr. Gilani had warned about internal feuds and corruption among the ranks of the Hurriyat. What was left unsaid was just where this feud would leave the outfit. Why the resignation? Mr. Gilani's resignation was preceded by a series of cases registered against him and his close associates by central agencies, especially since 2017 and the most deafening silence of the Hurriyat leadership after the August 5, 2019 abrogation of Article 370 and the change in status of Jammu and Kashmir to a union territory sans Ladakh. He was gradually losing favor with Pakistan and was being sidelined. The situation was further complicated as he wanted his son to succeed him. This did not cut ice with Pakistani authorities, said a senior government official. News analysis. In May 2017, Zakir Musa split from the Hizbul Mujahideen and pledged allegiance to Al-Qaeda and had threatened to decapitate and hang Harriet leaders, warning against terming Kashmir a political issue, a departure from his predecessor Burhan Wani, who had been killed in 2016 and whom Mr. Gilani had credited with reviving the Kashmiri freedom struggle. All of this raises questions on Mr. Gilani's clout in the separatist movement. There is a search on for younger, more credible leaders for the Harriet on the part of Pakistan, especially after the events of August 5 last year, a role that the 90-year-old Mr. Gilani was unable to fulfill anymore. In the lull following Mr. Gilani's resignation, government sources maintain that the internal feud within the Harriet is going to grow. The leadership tussle will go into a street-by-street battle and leave the field open for security agencies of India and Pakistan to maneuver in the interstices, says one senior source. While some officials say that it could lead to a dominant intervention by Pakistan in choosing the new leadership, two other officials said the Indian government was in a better position than before in terms of influencing decisions. Fifth article is nearly 78% of COVID-19 patients in India are under 50 IDSP data. 60% have at least one comorbidity, says government body. In India, 60% of COVID-19 patients had at least one comorbidity and nearly 78% were under 50, says data from the Integrated Disease Surveillance Program (IDSP), a health ministry body that's tasked with monitoring disease outbreaks across the country. The data is only a fraction, less than 1 lakh of the confirmed positive cases that today exceeds over 6,50,000 but is based on hospital data and offers glimpses into the unique characteristics of the spread of the disease. Limited role. For instance, while comorbidities are known to be a major risk factor for death, well-known risk factors, hypertension and diabetes appear to play a limited role as far as testing positive for the disease is concerned. Only 8% of the 16,155 whose data was publicized by the IDSP were diabetic and 9% were hypertensive. Previous studies have shown that the overall prevalence of hypertension was 29% and of diabetes around 11%. Nearly 30% of those whose comorbidities were publicized were characterized as others. Experts say there were a wide range of comorbidities among those who tested positive and frequently it was difficult to tease out the contribution of the virus in worsening health. Cancers, a history of a bypass, hepatic disorders, kidney ailments come in the category of others, said Sujit Kumar Singh, Director, National Center for Disease Control. The IDSP is a unit of NCDC. We now have enough cases to call for a deeper analysis of the peculiar characteristics of the pandemic. It isn't enough to rely on Western or international data alone to understand Indian diseases' peculiarities. Laying out the symptoms recorded by hospitals of 19,813 patients, fever was the dominant symptom but noted only in 26% of the cases, cough in 19%. A significant 21% were slotted as other symptoms, meaning they displayed conditions beyond sore throat, diarrhea, pain, headache and vomiting. This is surveillance data from hospitals. Many times they lack necessary detail, but going ahead we hope that at least in major clinical centers, more detailed case histories are presented. The virus would affect populations differently and differences in strains did play a major role in explaining the severity and spread, Mr. Singh said. Previous studies have found that as of early June, there were at least 11 subtypes of SARS-CoV-2, 6 of which were identified in India. Patient demography. When the demographies of nearly 83,000 patients were analyzed, 37% were identified as urban and only 13% as rural. The rest were characterized as not specified. Mr. Singh said migration and different definitions of classification by the authorities of a person's residence status were a reason for the large number of unspecified. Here the viral tracker. As many as 611 new COVID-19 deaths, including 171 fatalities registered from a backlog in Maharashtra, were reported on Saturday, taking India's toll to 19,281. The graphs depict new cases C and deaths D in the last 14 days in selected states. If average cases or deaths in the latest 7 days are much higher than the previous 7 days, then the cases or deaths are rising. If they are lower, then dropping. If they are similar, then flattening. Thank you for watching everyone. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel and also comment to do more videos.